Hey everybody, this is a 40-minute Power Vinyasa practice with binds. If you need more of a warm-up, I'll put a link below. Come into a comfortable seated position. Sit tall. Rest your hands on your lap, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And just when you feel you can't inhale anymore, see if you can take one more sip. And then exhale through your mouth with a sigh. On your next exhale, see if you can relax your shoulders away from your ears. And on your next inhale, see if you can get even taller. As you begin to connect with your breath, let go of anything that happened earlier. Let go of any to-do lists or anything you need to take care of later on. And see if you can make a commitment to yourself to stay present for this 40-minute practice. Make your inhales and exhales of equal length. And use the breath as your fuel to move through this Vinyasa flow. On your next inhale, extend your arms out in front. Come into child's pose. Spread your fingers wide and press into your hands until you feel a good stretch in your armpits. Reach your hips back towards your heels, but don't worry if they don't come down all the way. As you inhale, rise back up. Interlace your fingers behind your back, puff your chest out, let your head go if that feels okay for your neck. Little mini back bend. Then interlace your fingers out in front and press the palms away from you, rounding your upper back. As you inhale, we'll bring the arms up overhead and bend the left elbow. See if you can keep your chin parallel to the floor. When you're ready, switch sides, breathing now into the right tricep. As you inhale, we'll take the left arm out in front and pull the left fingertips back towards your body to breathe into the forearm. And then we'll take it over to the other side with the right arm, stretching out the forearm there as well. On your next inhale, come forward onto all fours, knees underneath hips, knees hip distance. As you inhale, lift the head, lift the tailbone, and as you exhale, press the mat away from you, round your upper back. Inhale, lift the head, lift the tailbone. Exhale, press the mat away, round your upper back, let your head go. Move as slowly or as quickly as you need to. Just link your breath with your movement. From here, we're going to make big circles with the rib cage. So take the ribs out to the right, down toward the ground, out to the left, and then round the upper back. Out to the right, down toward the ground, out to the left, round the upper back, and then switch directions. So ribs out to the left, down toward the ground, out to the right, round the upper back. Out to the left, down to the ground, out to the right, and round the upper back. Then when you're ready, curl your toes and come into your first downward facing dog. Make any small movements you need to. Bend the knees, pedal the legs out, whatever feels good for you, do that. Think about your foundation here though. We want to spread the fingers and plug into the earth. So if someone came by and tried to lift your fingers, they wouldn't be able to. When you're ready, take your right hand to your left ankle. A little twist here. See if you can keep your hips even. And then we'll take it over to the other side when you're ready. So look out underneath your right armpit. Keep pushing the ground away from you. maintaining the integrity of the pose. And when you're ready, come back to center. Rise up onto your toes, press the mat away, and then ripple through your spine until you come forward into plank pose. From here, lower down chaturanga, inhale up dog, shoulder blades drawn toward one another for an open chest. Then roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Step your feet up the mat a couple of inches to clarify your foundation. On your next inhale, lift your right leg, spread your right toes, then bend the right knee. We're going to make big circles as if you're drawing a circle with your right knee. And from here, bring the shoulders over the wrists and tap the right knee to the right elbow. And then lift back up using your core strength, three-legged dog. Extend out of the bottom of that foot. Now on your next inhale, bring shoulders over wrists. Bring the knee to the elbow, then slide it down to the wrist, pop it back up maybe to the armpit, three-legged dog. As you inhale, shoulders over wrists, bring the right knee to the left elbow, three-legged dog. On your next inhale, shoulders over wrists, knee to left elbow, slide it down, pop it up, three-legged dog. On your next inhale, step the foot to the front of the mat. Bring the left knee down and rise up with the arms. As you exhale, press the hips forward, elongate the back, no compression in the low back. Lift your heart, lift your gaze. As you inhale, bring the fingertips down to the ground, extend out of the left leg, then lift the right arm for a little twist. From here, we'll rise up, testing our balance. Then windmill the arms down. Use your core strength, step back, three-legged plank. Lower chaturanga, inhale up dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Maintaining the connection to your breath, and as you inhale, lift your left leg, spread your left toes. Shoulders over wrists, left knee to left elbow, three-legged dog. On the next inhale, shoulders over wrists, left knee to left elbow, slide it down, pop it up, three-legged dog. On the next inhale, come forward, shoulders over wrists, left knee to right elbow, three-legged dog. On the next inhale, shoulders over wrists, left knee to right elbow, pop it down, pick it up, three-legged dog. On your next inhale, we'll do some big circles with the left knee. Trying to keep the shoulders even. And then when you're ready, we'll step the foot to the front of the mat. Set the right knee down and rise up. As you exhale, press the hips forward, breathe into the right hip flexor, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Take the fingertips to the ground, rise up. Extend out of the right leg, and then we'll lift the left arm. Find your sense of balance and rise up. Windmill the arms down, use your core strength, three-legged plank. Chaturanga lower down, inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Let your head go, no tension in your neck. Find your connection to your breath. As you inhale, bring shoulders over wrists, pop forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up with a flat back. Exhale, hands to the heart. On your next inhale, take a big step to widen the legs. Then interlace the fingers behind your back. Come forward. When you can't go forward anymore, then bring the arms up overhead and press the palms together. See if your palms can touch. Breathe into any space where you feel tension. And bring the hands to the low back, bend the knees and round all the way up. As you inhale, bring your arms out in front, rise up onto your toes. Now the feet are pointed out at a 45-degree angle. Try not to lean back, lift tall. Make your arms strong. Hands to the heart. Then super slowly we'll come down into Garland pose. So you can stay on the balls of the feet if that feels good, or you can see what happens when you bring the heels down to the ground. Bring the hands to the heart and press the elbows into the knees. Try to keep your chest open, so draw your shoulder blades toward one another. On your next inhale, bring the left hand down to the ground, right arm lifts. Look out over your right shoulder. See what happens when you take a bind. You can also use a belt or a yoga strap or a tie to help connect the hands. Keep the integrity of the pose by keeping the knees open. When you're ready, release the same way you went in, come back to center. Inhale, right fingertips to the ground, left arm lifts. Look out over the left shoulder, see what happens when you take a bind. As you inhale, come out the same way you went in. We'll bring the hands down shoulder distance, coming into crow pose. So spread the fingers, look ahead, prop the knees on the arms, see what happens when you lift. Visualize a round in your back. Use your core strength to lift even more. Then when you're ready, we'll jump back for chaturanga, rise up for up dog, and meet in downward facing dog. So for downward dog, we want to make this shape of an upside down letter V. So lift your hips up to the sky. Press the mat away for long armpits. And when you're ready, lift your right foot. Step the foot to the front of the mat. If you're using a yoga mat, we want to rotate the left foot so it's parallel with the short edge of the mat. Then windmill the arms up for warrior two. Then come forward with your torso, rotate the arms, look out over your left arm. From here, you can stay there or take a bind. Again, using a yoga strap or a tie or a belt to help connect. Try to keep the chest open, and when you're ready, we'll release. Then reverse. Windmill the arms down. Use your core strength. I'm going to practice a little bit of balancing here. So we want the hips even. Then bring one hand, maybe the other, to the calf muscle and pull up on the calf muscle. Spin your inner left thigh up towards the sky to maintain the integrity of the hips. Point your left toes down to the ground. Then when you're ready, send the fingertips down. Bend your front leg. We're coming into warrior three pose. On your next inhale, step to the front of the mat, hands to the heart. We'll take a wide step, feet 45 degrees, rise up onto the toes. Activate your core, lift even higher, get tall, make your arms strong, energize your fingers. Then bring your hands to your heart and slowly come down to Garland pose, maybe staying on the balls of the feet or maybe inviting the heels to come down. Whatever feels best for you, do that. Press your elbows into your legs to open up the hips even more. Keep your heart open, draw your shoulder blades toward one another, and then open up the arms. Option to stay there or take a bind. Look out over your right shoulder, draw shoulder blades toward one another, keep the heart open. As you inhale, gently release, come back to center. When you're ready, take it over to the other side. From here, release, hands to the heart, and we'll come into crow pose. So spread the fingers, lift the hips, prop the knees as far up the arms as you can, round your back, then use your core strength to lift the legs. rather than just hanging out and letting the weight of the legs rest on your arms. When you're ready, shoot back with the legs, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. So find your connection to your breath again. Remember your intention of staying present. Then on your next inhale, lift your left leg, spread your left toes, and step the left foot to the front of the mat. Pivot on the back foot until your right foot is parallel with the short edge of your mat. Coming into warrior two. Arms are strong, draw shoulder blades toward one another. Come forward with your torso, rotate the arms. Look up at the right thumb, and then stay there or take a bind. Try to keep the heart open and try to avoid resting on that front leg. Use your core strength to stay light and lifted. Then rise up and we'll reverse. Breathe into the left side body. Then rotate the arms, come down. Spider your fingers forward, rise up. Then pull on the left calf muscle. You're going to have a little micro bend in the left leg. We want to have the hips even. And you can spin your inner right thigh up towards the sky, point the right toes down to the ground. And then from here we'll rise up into warrior three, so airplane pose. You might find that one side is more challenging to balance on than the other. That's normal. And when you come up, step the feet together for mountain pose, hands to the heart. On your next inhale, take Utkatasana, chair pose. Sink the hips, squeeze the knees together, feet together, arms overhead or hands to the heart. Stay there or we'll take a little twist. So for the twist, the most important thing is to keep those knees together. Don't let that right knee pop forward. Initiate your twist from the navel, then when you're ready, unwind and take it to the other side. So sink the hips low, right elbow up to the sky, and don't let that left knee creep forward. We want the knees glued together so that our knees stay protected. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, rise up, halfway lift, hands to the shins if you need. Exhale, plant the hands, jump back. We'll roll onto the knife edge of the right foot. Then we're going to bend the knees and plant the whole right foot on the ground. Rise up. Stay there, or if you want more of a challenge, bend the top leg. Reach back, see if you can grab hold of the foot. Slingshot your heart forward. So it's a back bend, but it's also a balancing posture as well. And when you're ready, we'll come to plank, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, sphinx pose. Rise up through the crown of your head. Exhale, melt forward. Interlace your fingers behind your head. We'll do a reverse crunch. So using back body muscles to lift. This will help with things like locust pose and bow pose. And bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Pull yourself forward, lift up. Upward facing dog. Let your head go if that's okay for your neck. Elongate the spine, then roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Shake your head out, no tension in your neck. Then rise up onto your toes. Come forward into plank, then bend the knees. We'll come into side plank here, but we're going to take our entire left foot to the ground. Then lift the top leg and reach back. See what happens. See if you can grab hold of the right foot. So we don't want to have the left shoulder stacked over the left wrist. We want it to be just away from it, and that will give us more space. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower all the way down. Take Sphinx pose, rise up through the crown of the head. And then from here, extend your arms. We'll take left leg, right arm lifts, then switch sides, using back body muscles to lift up. From here, hands by your side, pull yourself forward, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Step your feet up the mat a couple of inches to clarify your foundation. Find your connection to your breath. When you're ready, lift your right leg, step your right foot to the front of the mat. We'll take left foot parallel to the short edge of the mat, rise up. We're coming into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So both legs are straight, and we'll come forward with the torso and rotate the arms. Imagine that your body is between two panes of glass, so you're really in line, and then stay there, or bend the front leg and take a bind, looking out over your left shoulder. Chest is open, shoulder blades drawn toward one another. When you're ready, we'll gently release and rise up. Take reverse Trikonasana and bend the front leg. Slide yourself forward. We're coming into half moon pose. Option to stay there or bend the leg and take sugarcane pose. This is a pretty tricky pose for the balance. So one thing I can suggest is to make sure that you're firmly rooted in all four corners of the standing leg, and you have your fingertips on the ground rather than collapsing your weight into your full hand. When you're ready, release. We're going to slowly come down to seated spinal twist. So find your way there, lift your left arm, and then we'll hook the elbow to the outside of the knee. Stay there or take a bind by putting that hand through the little hole that you've made with your leg. You want to keep the chest open, keep twisting with each exhale, initiating the twist from the navel. When you're ready, we'll gently release. Windmill the hands down, rise up. Lift that back leg for standing split. Doesn't really matter how high you get that leg. We'll just take a breath there and then bring the feet together and forward fold. As you rise up, plant the hands into the ground, bend the knees, then hop back for plank. Lower down, lift up, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Take a couple deep breaths. Find that connection to your breath once again. And lift your left leg, stepping the foot to the front of the mat, pivoting on the back foot, coming into Trikonasana, so straightening both legs, then coming forward with the torso and rotating the arms. Now, if your left hand doesn't get down to the ground, you can rest it on the shin. If you want to go deeper, you can bend that front leg, take your bind, and then straighten your leg. Might take a little adjustment there with the back foot as well. And you may be tighter on one side than the other, and that's perfectly normal. When you're ready, release. Use your core strength to rise up. And then we'll do reverse Trikonasana, breathing into the left side body. From here, bend that front leg, rise up. We're coming into half moon pose. So take your fingertips to the ground. Use your hand like a straw, imagining that with each inhale, you're able to find stability as one long line of energy comes up from the ground and moves through your arm. Option to come into sugarcane pose or stay where you are in half moon. As you release, slowly make your way down into seated spinal twist. Hooking the right arm, looking out over your left shoulder, taking the bind if you like. With each exhale, twist just a little bit more, initiating the twist from the navel. And windmill the arms down, we'll take a breath in standing split. And then forward fold. As you inhale, rise all the way up, hands to the heart. Mountain pose. Take a big step to widen the feet. Fold forward. Take the feet out a little bit, maybe 45 degrees, and wrap your arms as shown. So we're going behind the calf muscle. Lift your hips up as high as you can, just breathing into the hips, breathing into any tension you feel. From here we'll release, heel toe the feet until they're about hip distance. Then bend the knees and slide the hands underneath the feet for a gorilla pose. In order to do this pose properly, we want to make sure that the toes are touching the wrists. So really slide your hands underneath. Then let your head go and rock forward and backward. On your next inhale, we'll take the hands out, place the hands on the ground, heel toe the feet together. Halfway lift, then exhale, forward fold, fingers in line with the toes, bend your knees if you have to. On your next inhale, bend the knees deeply until you come to sit down on the ground. Reach your arms out in front, lift your heart, then lift your toes, bringing your shins parallel to the ground. Coming into Savasana pose here. Spread the toes, spread the fingers. Maybe challenge yourself to press out of the bottoms of the feet and extend the legs, keeping your heart lifted, keeping your back long. And from here we'll roll down and rise up. So this is just a pivot of the pelvis. Roll down, rise up. Roll down, rise up. Bend the knees, taking the shins parallel. Then grab hold of the first big toes. Spread the other toes. Lift your heart. Press out of the bottoms of the feet. Pull the legs in towards your face. Then round your back, roll back, stick the feet into the ground behind you. Press out of the bottoms of the feet to activate the leg muscles. Breathe into the hamstrings and breathe into the back. When you're ready, we'll rise up. Savasana pose. From here we're going to do a little bit of core work, so we'll do Russian twists. The key here is to maintain the integrity of the pose, maintain that V shape in your body, and then twist as much as you can. So we want the shoulders to come all the way around with each twist as you just tap the ground with your fingertips. Reach the arms out in front, grab hold of the big toes, spread the other toes, press out of the bottoms of the feet, lift your heart, pull the legs in, and then round the back, roll back. Press the toes into the ground behind you. Press out of the bottoms of the feet, breathe into the legs, elongate the legs, and breathe into the back as well. From here we'll release and then extend the legs. So we're going to come into staff pose. Feet are out in front, arms out in front. And then we're going to bring the hands down by our sides and press the hands into the ground if they reach. You want to sit as tall as you possibly can. I'm just going to turn because from here we're going to go a different place. So we'll bend the right leg. Then bring the right arm to the inside of the leg and reach out in front as far as you can. From here, point the thumb down towards the ground and wrap the arm around the leg, seeing if you can take a bind with the left hand back behind you. Bring the head down towards the knee, breathe into the hip. This is a really good hip opener. I want to try to keep the shoulders even as well, so think about that. Then when you're ready, rise up. We're going to bend the left leg, so bend the foot in towards your pelvis. Then lift the right leg up. Grab hold of the outside of that foot with your left hand and slide your right arm underneath the knee. Then extend the leg and look out under your armpit. If you have a belt or a strap, you can also wrap that around the middle of the foot and use that to connect if you're not as open in the side body. That's called sundial pose. Release and we'll take it to the other side. So we're bending the left leg, bringing the left arm in front of that leg, wrapping around, taking the bind. Trying to keep the shoulders even, taking a deep breath in, and as you exhale, come forward. So the right foot is flexed, bringing the head down towards the leg, breathing into the hips. As you inhale, rise up. Bend the right foot in towards the hips. Lift that left foot up. Grab hold of the outside of the foot with the right hand. And then slide the left arm underneath the knee and extend. You can also use a yoga strap if you need a little bit more space. Breathe into the right side body here, breathing space between the ribs. And when you're ready, we'll gently release. From here, extend your feet out in front. Bring your arms out in front and we'll lower all the way down. Bend your knees. Pull the knees in towards the chest. Then just rock side to side, giving yourself a little release of the low back. From here, we're coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring your hands to your belly. Close your eyes. And we'll begin to just let go of the breath, let the breathing come naturally. If you need to prop something underneath your leg so that there isn't a strain on the groin, you can do that. You can roll up a towel underneath each leg or use a yoga block underneath each leg. We'll be here for just a few minutes, letting the body absorb all the good things it just did. On your next inhale, slowly come over to your right side, cradling your head in your hands. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, press your hand into the ground to sit yourself into a comfortable seated position, bringing your hands to your heart. Just take a moment to acknowledge your practice and seal it in with Namaste.